Hey guys, President of XP Realty, part of the Johnson Group here in beautiful Savannah, Georgia, with my boy Brandon Giebler from Next Move. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Oh, living the dream, living the dream. How are you doing?
Doing great. A little sad the Olympics are over. I don't know if
How are
you got to
you?
watch. Yeah, I definitely am.
How are you?
Definitely am. But we won the hockeys, so good.
Yeah, that was the
Both,
important one.
both the hockeys, and then we won. First female figure skater since like 2002, gold medal. Yeah. Pretty crazy. Well, I'm sure you guys didn't want to come on here and talk about the Olympics tonight. We're sitting down with someone who doesn't just talk about public safety. He's lived it. Before City Hall, before council meetings, before policy debates, he spent decades in law enforcement working directly with the people behind the statistics. District 6 Alderman Kurtis Purtee has built his reputation around a different idea that safer cities don't come from reacting to crime, but preventing it. So tonight, we're not just asking about crime. We're asking questions from Facebook, growth, infrastructure, youth engagement, and whether Savannah's future depends more on policing or planning.
Ooh.
All right, so we're going to be joined by Kurtis Purtee, Alderman from District 6. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate you coming on. How are you doing?
Hey, guys. Hey, how are y'all doing? I'm glad to be here tonight. What a wonderful night to be here. It's cold outside, warm indoors. I'm happy to be here.
It's so cold. I don't like it.
It's
This
too cold.
wind is.
I don't need it. It's rough. It's too
wrong
rough.
place for this. This should be back up north where we're both from.
So yeah, this is not there. This is not what Savannah should be about. It should be about hot days, no sand gnats, but hot days, and good drinks. I think that's about all we can offer at this point.
And minor humidity, not a lot.
Yeah, please.
Just a little bit.
Well, like I said, guys, we brought Kurtis on here so you guys could ask some questions. So please get on the chat, type questions in if you want to ask questions about City of Savannah. If you don't know what district you're in, don't worry about it. He can help you with any of them. I'm sure he knows people that can help you if you're talking about a different part of the city. So
I get phone calls all the time from I'll get you where you need to be.
Okay. Well, Kurtis, first tell us about yourself, and for those that don't know you, and tell us, what does District 6 cover?
Oh my goodness. I could spend a lot of time talking about this, but I won't. Anybody that knows me knows I like to go on and on about stuff I'm very passionate about. But for the past 20, going on 26 years now, I've been a police officer. I've been in law enforcement. Started my career up in Michigan, where I was born and raised. Two areas of Michigan, Flint, Michigan, for one, which was a pretty rough city back in the 80s. I'm an 80s baby, so still a young guy, fairly young. But back during the crack cocaine epidemic up there, I lived through some of that stuff and shutting down of General Motors. So I was the minority in my neighborhood. I'll tell you that much. So it was a very interesting time growing up as a kid. What was normal to me was not normal to other people. So I used that experience growing up there. And then policing in an area like that to learn how to try to help make policy work here in Savannah. I also worked in a rural area in Michigan. Grew up on a dairy farm for a little bit. So that was, you get the best of both worlds. You get the city, you get the country, the rural, the urban. Made my way here. Like I said, I've been here almost, about 21 years now. So not a native Savannian, but a Savannian. So there's a little bit of a difference. People say, "Well, you ain't from here." No, I'm not, but I'm a Savannian. So don't mess with me. But yeah, very, very. They're very, very finicky about that. So District 6, the South Side. If you talk to folks in Savannah, they'll tell you that South Side started on Duran Avenue and anything south of Duran, and that was a long time ago when the city stopped at Duran. Before the Big Globe or any of that stuff was there. That was the very south end of the city, and then it just kind of went from there down to Eisenhower, Montgomery Cross Road, and then the 90s came and Savannah Mall was born. And hey, the South Side now consists of Windsor Forest, Wilshire, Coffee Bluff, White Bluff, Sweetwater, Bradley Point, Savannah Mall corridor, the Savannah Mall area, and everything in between. All the good little nooks and crannies we got in the South Side. So I share some of the South Side proper with Alderman Nick Palumbo, good buddy of mine, my battle buddy, Nick. and Dr. Estella Shabazz, who's our mayor pro tem. So we're kind of a trifecta of the South Side, if you will. But the true South Side is where District 6 is. Don't tell anybody. So that's where we're at.
Wow. So you went from dairy farming to police force, which is crazy, kind
It's very
of.
crazy.
Ugh. Flint, Michigan, that threw me a little bit. I was not expecting Flint. I saw Michigan, but I didn't see Flint, Michigan.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. The rural area was beautiful. Flint, there's some good things about Flint. I don't want to knock it. I mean, it's my hometown.
It's
There you
not
go.
their water, so
No,
It's still not their
no.
water.
It's not the
It's
water, and it's not the burnt down homes, the bullet-ridden businesses. It's none of that stuff. It's the good parts of Flint. What makes Flint Flint are its people, and
Yes.
Savannah's like that too. What makes Savannah are its people.
Amen
So,
to that.
yeah.
So how is that real responsibilities, and does that blue collar foundation kind of change how you make policy decisions compared to a career politician?
It does, because I think you have to live through some of that stuff in order to understand the impact that you have on folks. I mean, uh, honestly, when I was a little kid, and I'm going to tell you a quick story. When I was a little kid in our front yard in Flint, I remember this van pulling up in the neighborhood. These guys with guns jumped out. My sister and I think I was 7 years old. My sister was 5, and I remember we saw it on TV before, so we thought that's kind of cool. It's like being in a movie, but we didn't realize that there was a drug house one house down from us that was being raided by the Flint police and the DEA or whatever agency that was back in the day. It was just guys jumping out of a van with guns. Shootings in the neighborhood were prevalent. We saw things getting tagged with gang signs. Growing up like that, for me, that was normal for me. So I understand, a lot of folks sometimes will be like, I don't understand why kids do this or why they do that or why they just think people are born into a situation and they choose to be like that. Well, nobody chooses to be like that. That's what you're accustomed to. That's your normalcy. So it took moving out of that area to understand, what a different opportunity would look like, only to come back and police and something similar later on in life was just absolutely um, I do want to say rewarding, but it was almost like a phenomena to me that, like, holy cow, it's like full circle, right? So you can
right.
take what you lived and understood and experienced and be able to go back and police like that, and then to police like that, and then get into this elected position. I'm able to understand why officers do what they do, why people function how they function, and it's just it's just a mixture of different actions and people and life experiences. It's so politicians, your true politicians will get up there and we're going to be hard on public safety. We're going to lock people up. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. But there's a holistic approach that oftentimes goes unnoticed and goes unspoken. And I think that's where I'm different. I've lived the experience. I've been there. I haven't seen it all, but I've seen a lot, and I'm understanding to why things are the way they are, and how we can have those tough conversations and put the finances where they need to go and get the right people involved to help make our community safer. It's not about reacting to something once it happens. It's about preventing those things before they happen and getting to the root cause. I'm not going to get all theological on you, but one of my favorite one of my favorite I'll call him a theologian, but he made a comment one time, and he said that all things are temporary, especially social justice issues. All social justice issues are temporary. You have to go deeper. You have to go to the root of the problem, and to me, that's where it is. You really have to get to the root of the problem.
Okay. And I want to get to the chat, and I want to say hello, y'all. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Hello, y'all's our biggest fan, so we don't want to miss her when she comes on. Thank you very much for coming on. All right, so this next clip is about Dr. Linda Davis. So we obviously tragic situation. Our heartfelt sympathies go out to the family and the school and every children and all the people that were affected by this. I'm going to show something that Mayor Van Johnson said, and then we're going to ask you a question from Facebook. Okay.
What was so important? What did this gentleman do that necessitated this this law enforcement activity. What was so important? What was the forcible felony that he committed? And did the result justify the process? And that's what I've asked for our senators to inquire directly of the White House, because we don't want that crap happening in our city. We're just not going to stand for that. We're just not going to. And so I'm still a bit emotional about it, but I'm just going to leave it right there.
So obviously the mayor was emotional. Hello, y'all says a holistic approach to community safety is key to healthy communities. So she agrees with you. All right. So after what the mayor said, I'm going to ask you a question from Facebook. So,
Okay.
Vicky Gambert asked, okay, she wants to know about what you thought about what happened last week. And she believes that ICE should have notified local officials and police of their activities. And she also said they should go back to the border where they belong. Okay. That was from Vicky.
Yes. That was a really sad situation that happened, and I'll share this much. I'll share what I can share on it. But in my day job, as still being in law enforcement, I'm a supervisor in law enforcement. I heard the call go out on the radio that day. I went to the hospital. The mayor and I were both at the hospital that day. I was there for a couple of hours and had I would say the privilege. Some people would say the opportunity. I would say the privilege, the humble privilege of meeting with the family that day, and it absolutely tore my heart up. It broke my heart. It was something that could have been avoided. It was an absolute tragedy to the community, not just for folks that knew her, but the countless kids that she interacted with on a daily basis. It was just sad, and what I saw, um, was from surveillance videos, but you had an unmarked van with lights in it. Didn't even look like a police vehicle. It looked like a minivan, made to look anything not like a police vehicle. And then we saw a four-door sedan that looked like a Toyota Corolla, I think, with blue and red lights inside of it, chasing after this vehicle. And anybody, I don't care if you're a federal agent or not, or even local law enforcement, I wouldn't stop for somebody in a vehicle like that. If I didn't know they were police, I mean, we live in a day and an age where you just don't know what people's motives are. But do I want to see that in our community? Absolutely not. I think what happened was wrong. I think it could have been avoided. From my understanding, the gentleman that they were chasing had no criminal history, had no violent background. He had a what do you call it? Not an extradition order, but an order to be sent back to wherever he was from. Right, that doesn't necessitate a police chase in an unmarked vehicle that puts many lives at risk. And what pisses me off more than anything, I'm sorry, but what pisses me off more than anything is the fact that where they drove through and where they chased that guy through is where tons and tons of kids walk to school every day in front of Hess K through 8 school. And just imagine because school was out that day, it was an e-learning day for kids. But just imagine if school would have been in that day, because that's right around the same time that all those kids would have been walking to school, or all those buses would have been coming in, their parents walking their kids, a crossing guard going across the road. It's disgusting. It's people that are not from Savannah that come here with an agenda and have an agenda. And don't give a damn about people that live in Savannah, because if they did, they would have contacted Savannah Police Department. Actually, it would have been Chatham County PD they would have contacted, and at least they gave them a heads up of, hey, this is what's happening, this is what's going on. But that never happened. That sort of stuff should be coordinated through local law enforcement. When stuff like that happens, it erodes trust that people have with the police department, with local government. And we have folks in our community, folks in our police departments that have worked years and years at building that trust and being part of that community, just so we can figure out and solve crimes, and we can figure out how to best proactively police our areas. And then you get these people that come in, and I'm going to say these people because a lot of these agents are not from here. They're from somewhere else. They come in, They do their thing, and we're left, with the mess in a community tragedy now. So they should have coordinated, absolutely 100%. They should have never chased. There was never was this guy putting anybody's lives in danger before they even gave chase to him. Absolutely not. It would have been different if he had a warrant for murder, homicide, something along that line. But there was no act of crime attached to that. That would just be like telling our police officers, well, every time somebody commits a minor traffic offense, you can chase them anywhere you want till the wheels fall off. It's just it's recklessness. It's recklessness endangerment is what it is to me. So yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is this: if folks are here, not here legally, there's ways to gain that citizenship. The fact that they're here doesn't make them criminals. Some people may argue that it does. Unfortunately, I mean, or fortunately, however you look at it, this country was built on immigration. People came here from all other parts of the world, Europe and Asia and everywhere else. And this is what we have, a melting pot of a people that we call the Americans. So I'm not going to get on that tangent, though. But yes, they should have coordinated. And ICE, I've got my personal opinion on it. And maybe I should leave it alone. But I think somebody else said it best in the chat.
Well, let's read the chat. Let's see. This is from Hello Y'all. ICE is so dangerous and they hold no accountability. They tried to spin what happened into their own story, telling citizens that our own city officials were lying to them.
Yeah, that's horribly wrong. I actually had an interaction with two of the ICE agents, and it was I was dismissed like I was nobody, and I was there in a police uniform. So no, just the fact that they have to cover their faces when they were there talking to other law enforcement tells me something's wrong. So no, they are dangerous, and it's disgusting that they don't. What are they covering their faces for to begin with? That's what I don't
understand that. Can you explain that? Did they explain any of that? Like, I don't understand.
Nope. They never explained it. I mean, some of our police officers and detectives deal with hardened criminals all the time. They deal with people that have had murder warrants or armed robbery warrants or suspects in a sexual assault case. And we're not covering our faces. We're not masking up and going out there because somebody's dangerous or violent. Typically, to me, when someone covers their face, it's because they're doing something wrong. That's just my opinion. Take it for what it's worth.
What is a robber? What does he do?
Yep, they cover their face. That's what they do.
Okay.
Wow. Hold on. Let me play the video first, Brandon. Okay. We got. I want to say congratulations. We're going to play the video for you. Here we go. And then
Thank you. Wow. Let's see what it's for.
National League of Cities, I wanted to congratulate Alderman Kurtis Purtee on his appointment to the National League of Cities 2026 Public Safety and Crime Prevention Federal Advocacy Committee. We have appointed Alderman Purtee to a one-year term, and this will help guide NLC's federal advocacy agenda on key public safety issues, including disaster preparedness and recovery, community-oriented policing, violence prevention, emergency communications, and federal grant programs that support local police and fire departments. Alderman Purtee, as many of you know, is an active law enforcement officer, and so we felt that his experience would be critical in helping to guide federal policy. For those of you that don't know, the National League of Cities represents nearly 19,000 municipalities nationwide. And so this appointment ensures that Savannah has a voice at the table where federal public safety policies are shaped and funding priorities are influenced. For this city, this strengthens our ability.
I love listening to Mayor Johnson.
Yes. So, man, that's that is an honor. It's an honor that I get to serve and represent and be one of 30 people that represent 19,000 cities throughout the United States to shaping what is it that's important to the cities where we can go to the federal government and say, hey, we want to allocate resources back to the city, back to municipalities. To me, it's about bringing important public safety issues to the table and bringing federal dollars back to the municipalities here, not just in Savannah, but all over the U.S.
Yeah. So your philosophy on governing relies on the three pillars that you stand by, which is safety through relationships, infrastructure for the quality of life, and then equity plus access approach to government. Can you kind of elaborate on those pillars and tell the people why those are the particular pillars that you ran on and you stand by?
So public safety has always been and always will be a priority. All that other stuff will kind of fall into play, but if people don't feel safe where they're at, all that other stuff doesn't matter. You could have the best infrastructure in the world. You could have the most opportunities out there. But if your folks aren't feeling safe in their homes, their neighborhoods, their community, none of that stuff's going to matter. You can't put a price on a human life. You can put price on infrastructure, put price on businesses and economic development, but you can't put a price on human life and the quality of life around that. So to me, public safety has always been number one. There's kind of a phrase I always used to say is, everything I do is driven behind accessibility, connectivity, equity, and opportunity. That's my four. They're not buzzwords, but that's everything I do is driven by those four key words as I move forward. So infrastructure is one of the. It's not a sexy thing to talk about, right? It's sidewalks, it's drainage, it's street paving. Ooh, it's nothing special, but those are the needed things, and those are the things that make our community go around. I'm a big fan of. I don't know if you ever heard of the broken windows theory. It's an old theory in the criminal justice textbook from years ago that we teach. I still teach it. But a window left broken long enough becomes the norm and invites other crime into the area. Just like if so that's the broken window theory. And soon crime flourishes because of that. And the degrees of crime go above and beyond that of which the broken window, was and is, and it just, so to me, public safety is priority, infrastructure is next, and then once you have those two things in place, I think people will then look at economic opportunity and look at opportunity and say, hey, this place is safe, this place looks good, the infrastructure is in place, this is somewhere we want to be. So if you address the first two things, I think the third thing really comes into play. But it's not just about economic opportunity, it's about opportunity for all, right? So we want to make sure that, and I know every city council meeting we get up there and talk about Savannah will be a thriving economically community, blah 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 blah, for all, and all means all, and that's what the mayor always says. But that's truly what we believe, and that's what I believe. And the hardest thing I've learned since I've become an elected official is I'm not going to please everybody. You're going to piss somebody off, and they will tell you about it when you do, right?
Absolutely.
You never hear about the good, but you always hear about the bad. But yeah, but the thing is, you can't please everybody, and you're going to make somebody mad, but you have to be that voice and look at things from 100 different perspectives, right? Because if I'm just looking at it from my belief and my perspective alone, or a few of my, what I call pocket friends over here, because everybody has that pocket full of friends, right, that we all identify with. We have our own little tribe, our own little group. We don't necessarily hang out with people that are outside of our group, so we don't get that perspective. So I have to take my friends out of the equation and say, okay, I understand what they're looking for. Let me go over here and talk to these folks. Let me go talk to these folks. And I think it's important that you don't be so dismissive of people that have different views than yours, right? And I think that's where we've lost the art of really disagreeing civilly in today's day and age, right?
Wait, what
Because
does
nobody,
mean? What does
what's
civilly
that?
mean? What does civilly
Civil,
mean?
yeah. What is that? Nobody's heard of that lately.
What?
Even though,
What?
yeah, what does that mean?
It's
So
wild. I mean, I'm screaming this same thing. I'm sick of hearing these. Like we're blaming the last guy. We're blaming the guy. It's always blaming. We're blaming somebody else. Like when I was in the military, we just had to deal with the problem.
yeah,
You came into
Yep.
a new section, and you're in
Yep.
charge. Say, guess what? They expect you to take care of the section, or
They,
the
they
platoon,
don't care
or
what
the
happened
company.
last time. It's your problem. You fix it. You move on with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they just don't. And I think this is what I think everybody's getting mad at the when you talk about federal level. Is like I don't think they've done anything of note since 2012.
No.
I mean, it's because I don't want to get into that. I don't want to start getting all that stuff, but it seems like since 2012, this politics have been trying to undo or just be divisive with the other side, regardless of what they say and how much sense it makes. You know what I'm saying? It's just we have to do it differently. I don't care because they did it that way. We're gonna do it a different way just because
we have to undo what they did because we don't like them.
Exactly. And then, I mean, and you can see it coming out like what I was going to just go one example. I'm not trying to get all crazy, but healthcare. You just want to get rid of healthcare, but there's no
plan. There's no plan.
There's no plan. We're just blowing it up because Obama did it. You know what I'm saying? Or, if, I'm not saying Democrats are just as guilty as Republicans. It's just stalling and doing nothing. So, I'm glad to hear that you'd like to talk to the other side. That makes me really happy because I'm sick and tired of these politics that are just partisan. It's ridiculous. I mean, Brandon, don't you agree? It's this partisanism is ridiculous, right?
It is.
Yeah.
You know what's sad? What's sad is I'll tell you this, and because you brought up healthcare, and I'll leave it alone after I say this, but there are things to me that seem to be a basic human fundamental right. Healthcare and housing are among the two of those things that should be a basic human fundamental right. And people start talking about unhoused individuals or homeless individuals, or why do I have to pay for somebody else's healthcare and this and that. What we don't realize and what we don't know is there's so many people out there who are one accident, one paycheck, one job loss,
disaster,
just one of those things away from being without healthcare, from being without a home, from having a disastrous thing in their life. I've met with families that were living out of cars in the parking lots of some of our stores in Savannah, kids and parents living out of their automobiles in Savannah because somebody lost their job during COVID, because a company downsized during that time, because a loss of a parent, and now the dad has paid all of the debt back to the hospital after the parent had the health issue, and he's still in debt, can't afford a place to stay, and is still working a job. And that's what, God, does it piss me off to no point saying this, but there are so many people out there that are still working 2 and 3 jobs that can't even afford a house of their own. We are in a crisis. We're in a housing crisis. We're in a financial crisis. And everybody seems to think that everything's about the price of eggs and the price of gas, and it's not. So that's what frustrates me.
Well, that's part of it too, though. That's part of the affordability too. Because I mean, you can't afford that stuff to begin with. How the hell can you afford a house? That's what I'm saying. I'm just sick of this partisan stuff. And I know we got Krista Penn coming on, and we got Michael McCord coming on. So and we're trying to see if they're going to be
spirited conversation there.
Yes, I just want to make sure that they're not going up there to play partisan again, because I'm sick and tired of it. But anyway, I'm sorry I ranted too long on that.
No. If you take away the 2-party system in the U.S., I think we would accomplish a lot more. Take money out of politics and take the 2-party system out. I think people would actually learn that the government would work for the people without other folks getting paid. So
absolutely.
Because it's like a dick measuring contest.
Yes, yeah.
The president is what you believe in.
All right, let's go on to the next question. All right, this next question is from Facebook. All right, here we go. Nice. Suzanne says she wants to know if there are any data centers coming or ICE detention centers are coming, and she doesn't want them here. So can you answer that?
Big hell no.
It is Patrick.
That is not coming here at all. And I can ensure that, and I can tell you that I could guarantee that this city council will not pass something along the lines for a data center or for an ICE detention center. That's not going to happen here in Savannah. No.
Where would you put it?
Well, I could already hear some of my constituents. Well, you got the Savannah Mall. No, we're not doing that. No.
Oh my God! I didn't even think about that. You better put that back in your mouth and don't let it come back out. Stop.
Listen. I've already the owner of Savannah Mall and I we had a good lunch the other day, and things are moving in the right direction. That's all I'll say.
What
Dillard's will not let it happen.
What's that?
Where are we going with the Savannah Mall?
So if you look at a plan we had called the old Congress of New Urbanism, it's not the old, it's the Congress of New Urbanism plan from back in 2018. We're trying to make that a mixed use development, meaning something like, I'm trying to think of some place that you'd go, like Eastern Wharf or Plant Riverside, something similar, right? Where you would have retail shops,
Starling Yard.
Starling Yard would be a good example.
Well,
Yeah,
it's basically what a mall is Starling. Right?
it
It's just-
basically is, but the thing is too, we have to get Target and Dillard's on board, because those are the two places that own their businesses there. And I've had a lot of folks say they want to keep Bass Pro around, and Bass Pro would probably want to stay there. So there's some neat ideas that have been tossed out there. It was really cool. We had a lunch the other day where we had some students from Georgia Tech come down, the architecture program, and they were excited to look at the space and help provide some interesting concepts of some things. So there's a lot of work going into it. How, I mean, we passed SPLOST. Everybody in the city of Savannah overwhelmingly passed the next SPLOST. $15 million of that is slated for that development over there, right? To study it, to do something, whether it's infrastructure, helping partner with somebody to bring some stuff in there. So we're working hard with the owners of Savannah Mall to be able to ensure that whatever goes there is successful and is community driven.
15 million.
15 million. Yep.
Nice. Well, let's catch up with the chat real quick. Hello,
Yeah.
y'all says the covering of the faces are insane. And
Yep.
Josh says, please no data centers. I agree with you, Josh.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Good comment. Best comment of the night.
What's wrong with data centers? They're great. You can use ChatGPT even more. Like, you can
All right.
store your fun stuff. What's wrong with it?
It's not really healthy, but that's
They'll figure out
All
how
right.
to put it on stilts in the marsh.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Put it in space. That's what I think they
Still
said
not
would be the best place in space. All right,
Yeah.
so we're gonna play a clip from the mayor talking about youth crime.
Okay.
Recent serious incidents that have occurred involving juveniles that have really had me concerned, including a fatal shooting and an armed robbery and carjacking. Let's be clear that we will hold individuals accountable, no matter what age they are. Unfortunately, in this case, these were very, very young people. Young people with guns. Young people doing adult crazy things, very, very dangerous things. That is of concern to us. But be very, very clear with us. Public safety in Savannah is non-negotiable. But when young people are involved in violent crime, we have to look beyond the enforcement alone. And so for us, it continues to be about prevention, intervention, and opportunity.
All right, Brandon.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to keep my comments. Okay. Okay, so you talk a lot about supporting the at-risk youth. So that's something that you're into. So what does that look like in real terms? And what is the city doing right now to make a difference?
So I think, one thing I'll tell you is I'm really actively engaged in our schools. So what I see is a little bit different than what other folks see that are not actively engaged with the school. So as I deal with some of these kids day in and day out, there's a lot of issues where the parents just don't care. They're not actively engaged in the kids' lives. And yeah, and there's just a total lack of respect from the juvenile to adult individuals, whether it be teachers, admin staff, police officers, whoever, right? So it's frustrating when I see that day in and day out, and the community might not see it, but that to me is kind of where it starts. It starts this little whirlwind of, things are going bad, and it picks up speed because you get one of those individuals together, and now you get another individual together, and another one, and now you got what we call a gang. Okay. For years, people in Savannah said, we don't have gangs. There's no such thing as gangs. That's not true. All right. We've had gangs in Savannah for some time.
Have you been to Savannah?
Yeah.
You been down?
and Yeah, it's sad, and I think in order to be able to tackle that issue, you have to start at an early. You have to start early in the schools, meeting kids where they are. Some of the same kids I see come in every day are wearing the same outfit, the same uniform they've had on for 3 or 4 days in a row. They're lacking basic necessities like toothbrush, toothpaste, t-shirts, underwear, socks, shoes, and we're seeing kids living in poverty coming to school, right? We're seeing kids that are coming from broken families into the school. We're seeing kids where mom is working 3 jobs, dad's not in the picture. Um, and now the kid is basically doing whatever they're doing all day long, finds another group of friends because he needs to have that family support because he's not getting it at home. And it's not mom's fault. Mom's working 3 jobs. She's trying. She's trying everything she can to put food on the table, provide a roof over the kid's head, and there's 3 or 4 siblings in the house, right? So now this kid goes to school and he's getting involved with other kids who maybe are his same age, maybe a little bit older, but that he identifies with them because maybe they're going through the same struggle, or maybe they're providing a place of belonging for him. So that's where the gang involvement starts, right? And I say it's easy for us. And I used to have this same belief a while back. I did. I used to tell people, well, if parents would just take control of the kids in the house, but it's not just that. It goes beyond that, right? So I'm Hillary Clinton made a comment. I'm not a Hillary fan, but I will say that Hillary Clinton made a comment a while back, and I think didn't she write a book? It takes a village, and it really does. It's beyond taking a village, right? So I think for us to be able to be successful, we have to pour resources. We have to pour our some of our finances, but mostly our resources, whether it be the fire department, police department, nonprofits, churches, um, any of the youth organizations that we have, especially in the summertime when the kids are out in the summer and there's nothing for them to do because school is a structured thing. This is what kids are used to doing. They go there. Some of them are the only meal. I'm gonna get emotional talking about this. The only meal some of these kids get is when they go to school.
School.
And that is it. That's it. That's the only meal they get. And I'm watching these kids go to school. They get their meal. They get a bag of meals and deodorant and toothbrushes to take home. And this is how they live, right? I don't I just can't understand. I don't understand and so I'll go off on a tangent about funding and stuff with school lunches and other things. I'll leave that alone. But I just don't understand why people wouldn't want to put resources into youth development and prevention and getting things out there like our 100 days of summer um, recreation programs. Or I hear folks all the time, well, why would you put so much money into recreation and not public safety? Because it's a mixture of both.
To keep the
It's a mixture of
streets
both.
good, safe. Keep the
Yeah.
kids good. Jesus
So
Christ.
So to me, it just, oh God, it just makes me so angry when I hear people say, "Well, why am I buying somebody else's lunch?" Well, damn it, because that's the only lunch the kids ever had, right?
Because you're a
That's the
decent
only,
human being, I hope.
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. Just don't be a dick. That's what I used to tell people.
Well, I think
You
when,
know,
when you talk about that, for instance, I mean, the things that you think about what people spend their money on, and then to complain about something like that is a little
Yeah.
bit crazy,
Right.
yeah,
right? When you're paying $6-7 for a coffee at Starbucks, but you can't help a kid pay for his school
Yeah.
lunch. I grew up on free lunch, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
From
I did too. I did too.
when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I mean, I looked forward to Friday pizza day because
Man,
that was the only
Friday
time I was
pizza day
going to
was the
get
best.
pizza.
Friday
Um,
pizza day was the best. We had
yeah,
Friday pizza
sorry.
day and Salisbury steak Wednesday. So yeah.
Salisbury steak.
Well, it was
we're older
mystery
than
meat.
you,
We
Brandon.
called it
Michigan?
yeah, Michigan. So we called it Salisbury steak, but we don't. It was mystery meat. Okay, we called it Salisbury steak.
With brown gravy.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus. So what could we as a community start doing today that would create a more long-lasting, long-term kind of change that would help remedy this situation? And we know it's
So
not the lunch lady that gets fired for
right.
doing that.
What's crazy is I wanted to put
That
I wanted
makes
to
sense.
put a basketball court along with a tennis court in an area of my city, and I had a few neighbors in the area fight it because they didn't want to hear the noise. They didn't want to hear the noise. They didn't
Oh,
want to hear that happen. And then now the same group of people in that neighborhood were bitching and complaining because the youth were going out there and tearing up the park. And I'm like, well, I mean,
well, now you know two great real estate agents that can sell their house, and
yep,
then and
yes,
then and then the kids can have a park.
yes. So, I mean, the biggest thing for me is for folks to, I know it's easier said than done, but to tell people embrace it. One of the big thing about the community center that we're looking at putting in Windsor Forest, and I've been talking about it for the 5 years that I've been in office. Well, 6 years. Jeez, 6 years I've been in office. Is it's important that you mix seniors and youth together because I think there's some valuable relationships that can be forged there, and kids will get an understanding of human experience, right? Because as kids, we see a lack of social interaction and human experience. Everybody's on their doing this these days, and nobody gets out there and actually has a conversation. So I'm excited to see when our community center gets built and have that mixture of youth and senior citizen interaction. So I think to me, it's it's not about being that, oh, I'm gonna get crucified when I say this. It's not about being the Karen in the neighborhood, okay? It's not about just being on the being on the phone and going, there's two black kids walking in my neighborhood, there's two white kids walking in my neighborhood. It's like they're kids. Okay, what else do you want them to do? They're
What
not
were you
doing anything wrong other than existing. So, I
we
mean,
weren't allowed to stay inside. We were told to go outside until
yes.
the lights came
Yeah,
on. So why's
so
this
I
weird?
mean, for me, it's about being a good community member, being a good neighbor, and just talking to kids, being like, "Hey, what's up?" Learn about them. It's the big thing for me in my neighborhood. I know a lot of these kids out here. I walk out here. I talk to them all the time. They see me in uniform. They don't know me as Curtis or Kurt the alderman, or the guy that lives down the road that always has a grouchy look on his face. It's the police
Because you don't
officer that always talks to me because I haven't had my coffee. But yeah, it's about being engaged. That is exactly what it's about, being engaged.
Well, we'll say Josh says, help the children. I really had a free school lunch myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we got a couple of us. All right. So, back to Facebook. All right. Here we go. Add to stage. Here we go. So, Randy asks, what date are they going to break ground for the years promised Windsor Forest Community Center? Is construction contract signed with the builder? Have the permits been pulled? Is that what you're talking about?
So how can I be talking about this next question? And not only that, I know Randy. She's awesome. She's one
Oh,
of my
okay. So,
favorite.
okay. All
Yeah,
right.
I know who Randy is. She's one of my favorite constituents. I'm not supposed to have favorites, but I do. She's one of my favorites because she is an active senior in our community, and she will gladly tell you what's on her mind. And I love her. But she's a wealth of information. But no, the groundbreaking was pushed back. This thing's been 20 years in the making, and I've been trying to run with it, and I've been hitting roadblocks and roadblock and roadblock. The permits, they have not been pulled yet. As soon as this, I believe we got to go out to a request for a proposal, an RFP process. So as soon as we push that proposal out there and we get the company that's going to build this thing, which we're planning on breaking ground somewhere between May and June-ish, July the latest, but I believe it's supposed to be between May and June. So it's
Okay.
the
So
second
close.
second quarter of this year. So we're getting close. We are where we're supposed to be with the architecture review process. The permitting, the request for proposal goes out there. We get the construction company. I anticipate us breaking ground in the next few months. I would say a couple months actually. But it's been a long, slow process, but it's gonna be worth it. It's definitely gonna be worth it.
Where's it
All right.
going?
It's going on the corner of Windsor and Briarcliff. Now, if you've been here in Savannah for some time, there used to be a skate park. If you've been here even longer, there used to be a pool. So a lot of history behind that lot. But I will say this: I'm glad that we were able to to do this with it. I think it's the appropriate location. We're going to have a kind of a mid-century modern feel to it, kind of like the neighborhood has. So I think it'll really, I think it's going to bring property values up. I think it's going to offer a resource to our community, give people a place to go play, meet, go in there, use the computers. The Golden Age Center is going to have seniors. They're going to be able to eat their lunches there. They'll have yoga, line dancing, anything and everything you can think of. The kids are going to have a place to play basketball and
Oh,
display
wow.
their trophies. So I'm excited by that. It's been a long time coming. It
Can I be
has.
a line dance instructor?
Yeah, why not?
What
Have
happened? Not doing
you-
that. My mom taught me all the line dances. I know line dances.
I grew up in a rural area, and even on the farm, and I didn't line dance. So, yeah, I must have went wrong there somewhere.
What?
Yeah, I
It was
know.
Michigan.
I
It was
know.
Michigan.
It was Michigan. We had polka. It's polka music up there. It was all Polish area. So,
I'm from Charleston, so I get it. Yeah, I get
oh
it.
yeah. So you've never heard things like, "Hey, it's Fat Tuesday. We're gonna go get a punchki," or, "Oh, these are good today. We're gonna get a glemki," which is not anything inappropriate. I promise. It's a Polish food. It's really good.
So, sounds
Whoa.
familiar.
You guys are gonna be like, I
Punchki?
gotta Google this and see what it is.
Yeah, now I need to know what a punchki is. Okay.
It's good. It's like a fried donut
You,
almost.
you know what it is.
Yeah.
You know what it is. So has there ever been like a decision that really like keeps you up at night as an alderman that you've had to make or had to just kind of deal with because it's a voting thing, right?
Yeah, there's been some that there was one that I struggled with a lot. And although we've had to make some really tough decisions on city council, one that I struggled with was the um, urban encampment ordinance. That was probably one that I struggled with uh, more than any other decision I've had to make. And I've,
Can you give us a quick breakdown, just like as brief as
Sure.
possible, so we know what you're
So
talking about?
So the urban encampment ordinance, actually, we voted on it last year, and it was something that was brought forth. Another city did it, and it was, we had an issue with some roofless folks in a park, and some transient folks and other individuals who weren't really homeless or roofless or transient that would just set up shop wherever they wanted to. And then they were, defecating in certain areas, and there were some issues there. So I looked at it from a public health perspective and a tool. After meeting with the homeless authority, and I sit on the homeless authority board, so we met with the homeless authority. I've met with several clergy members, and they were split on it. Even city council was split on it, and it was basically a thing that said, "Hey, you can't set up shop here, right? We'll get you to a resource, but you can't set up shop here." Because what we were finding is there were various areas of public right of way and public parks, and it was starting to become a human health hazard, um, and people were starting to feel uncomfortable. I don't want to say that the crime flourished in that area because it really didn't. It was just a feeling
Yeah.
of it was just people that had maybe not experienced homeless folks that were seeing it, um, that didn't feel safe. So there was a public education piece that went along with it. But I think at the same time, um, people should feel free to walk down a sidewalk and not have to see a human turd on the sidewalk. you know,
Like
uh,
go in the bushes.
yeah, but we were seeing that in various areas, and it came to a point where we talked to the homeless authority and we asked them, what are other cities doing? How can we help provide a service? And sometimes, you know, I'll say oftentimes with roofless folks, you'll see a mental health issue that comes into play, and it's hard to offer somebody that has mental health issue a resource and them not want to take it because they're every day they're surviving. This is survival mode for them, right? They're not worried about, oh, am I going to get my venti caramel frappuccino from Starbucks today? My favorite, by the way. What they're sorry, shameless plug. They're they're more worried about, Where am I going to sit? Where am I going to sleep? Am I going to eat today? Is it going to rain outside? Am I going to be dry? That sort of thing. So, to me, this was a tool that we could use to help people get the help that they need. Um, and what's sad is I think it was more focused on it as a punitive thing than another resource to be able to help folks get the help they need. And, I think we're moving in the right direction. We had conversation the other day at the Homeless Authority, and we are, I think our numbers of unhoused individuals in Savannah are going down. That's awesome. Do I think we'll completely eradicate homelessness? I hope someday in my lifetime. I hope it happens. I mean, I've got ways and I've got theories on how we can do that, but it's going to take commitment from people in the community. It's going to take commitment from different organizations and from the city, and you've got to have buy-in from the county because homelessness doesn't stop at the Savannah city limit. It goes into Garden City, Pooler, Port Wentworth, Chatham County, unincorporated areas. So I've seen them as far as Statesboro when I've had to travel up there. So I've had people tell me, well, it's just it's a city problem. No, it's not. It's everywhere, right? It's
No,
something.
we had
I wonder
we
if the complainers are going to be the ones volunteering to help.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
yeah, of course. Yeah, that definitely no.
Yeah.
No.
Line up, everybody.
They didn't complain to go help. So
Mhm.
we had homeless people in Fairbanks, Alaska, if you can believe that,
Yep.
and that's as harsh as they come. So
Flint, Michigan.
the
We had them. We had them in Flint, Michigan, and I mean, in the harsh of winter, and it never failed. Every year we'd have a deceased person because they just couldn't. They didn't have a place to sleep. They were sleeping outside in the frigid temperatures, and that was it.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It is definitely sad. All right, so we're gonna come to our last question from Facebook.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was hoping for more questions in the chat, but that's all right. We got the Facebook to help us out, so here we go.
Yeah.
All right. So Joan said, how are you going to keep us and our family safe from gun violence in the community and from ICE?
Ooh, there's like two separate issues there. So gun violence is one,
Sure.
ICE is another. um, gun violence. So I'll tell you what really keeps me up at night. It's not a decision, but it's the gun violence in the community. That's what keeps me up at night. I take it personal. Every time somebody gets shot, it frustrates me, it enrages me, and it saddens me, especially when we have a death. Oftentimes there's a few of us that go up to the hospital and visit with the families and sit with the families. I think in order to curb gun violence, it's hard because there's two types of gun violence. You have the type of gun violence where it's what we've seen in Savannah is, how do I say this? I'll just come out and say it. We have domestic issues, right? So there are folks in Savannah who have domestic issues at their house and they can't get along, and one person shoots the other one. And we've seen that. We've seen that happen quite a few times, and we've seen some death from that. And that pushes our gun violence numbers up, even though it may not be a crime in the street, a gang crime, a crime over drugs, a drug rip gone bad. It just it's bad. Mom and dad can't get along, brother and brother can't get along, and before you know it, somebody's shooting somebody in that household, and then it becomes a tragedy for the entire community.
When did walking out the door not become an option?
I don't
you not
know.
just leave?
I don't understand. I think and this has all become part of a bigger issue. To me, it's we just haven't had civility, right? We haven't had the art of being able to have conversation, those difficult conversations, or even conversations where we disagree. If you're that mad, just walk the hell away. Walk away, right?
Get a punching
Walk away.
bag, bro. Get a punching
Right.
bag.
And I think, part of it
Okay.
with the younger generation, to me, feels like there's just not, it's more social media, it's less social interaction. And if that makes sense, more social media, less social personal interaction. Um, so that level of social interaction they get with others when there's a disagreement, you see
We don't know how to
you
handle
see it escalate real quick, right? To me, it goes back to having the right tools in the right places at the right time. And I think, that's why I was talking about public safety. That's the biggest priority that we could ever have is public safety, right? It goes above housing, it goes above infrastructure. I think if we're able to proactively have these conversations with kids, um, have our officers out in the streets in the communities, learning kids that are in the communities, learning people in their communities, being able to be in the community and being a true community oriented policing officer or problem oriented policing officer, I think that you would see less crime as far as gun violence is concerned. Now, I'm not saying our officers don't do that. We're understaffed and they're riding call to call. So it's hard for them to get out of the car, walk through the neighborhoods, do that thing. I can tell you years ago that one of my former police jobs in the Savannah area, I made it a point. I was a sergeant on shift, and I made it a point to pull two of my police officers in, and we walked through a neighborhood. And when we were working, we had less shootings and less crime than other watches that were working. So to me, I knew that something was working. I knew that what we were doing was making a difference. People knew us enough to trust us. And when we did have something happen, who did they want to talk to? It was me or one of the other officers that was walking through the neighborhood. So I think it's building trust and really, really when it comes to some of these kids that are involved in gang stuff, giving them a purpose, right? Giving them a purpose and a sense of belonging, and helping them to understand that there's more opportunity out there than just what they're seeing at the street level, because the streets are rough, and I'm just a white kid from Flint, Michigan, but I will tell you that some of my best friends were not, and um, I couldn't understand what it's like to be somebody of minority in an impoverished neighborhood. I've worked in a lot of those neighborhoods. I couldn't understand what it was like to live like that, right? The closest thing I had was being the only white kid in my neighborhood in an impoverished neighborhood. So I knew from my experience how close it was, but still having a little bit of privilege doesn't compare to having the some of the issues some of those kids have. So to me, it's about having the right people policing in Savannah. I think that we can do a better job at recruiting folks that are from Savannah, or folks that are able to identify with some of the neighborhoods that we have in Savannah, and police those areas, because I think it's important that your police department is representative of your community. It's an old they call him Robert Peel principle. I'm not going to give you a lecture on it, but the police are the community and the community are the police, really, is what it all boils down to. So it's not an easy answer when it comes to gun violence, especially with youth in the community. I think we're moving in the right direction, but it's going to take time, and it's not like flipping a switch and it's going to happen overnight. As far as the ice thing is concerned, um, I have weekly conversations with our police chief. I trust him wholeheartedly, and I have no reason to believe that we should be in fear for ICE in the city of Savannah. I can tell you that. Um, uh, I I just know for sure that if ICE, were to show up in Savannah, I think you would have an outpouring of individuals that would stick up for this community. We've seen them in the county. I can't speak for the county area, but in the city, I will tell you that we are doing everything we can to ensure that we don't have an influx of ICE in the city of Savannah.
I don't want to get pulled over for saying this, but do you not feel like it would be better, like, if the cops were more so like you were saying, like, walk in the beat, like walk in the neighborhood rather than posted up in the corner of the interstate just waiting kind of thing? Like,
Yeah,
if
I
they
think
actually like walk in the neighborhood, meeting the people, keeping it
it,
safe that way rather than yeah.
I'm a big fan of walking a beat, or even like even when I patrol, I
It's good
have
for
both
you
of
too.
yeah, and I have both of my windows down. I stop, I slow down, I talk to people. But I think in this time where we are understaffed, and when these officers are just going from call to call, it's hard to do that. And then with the age of technology, they got to get in their car, they got to write the report on their computer. So they're constantly doing something. But to me, I made a comment the last city council meeting we had when we were in the workshop, and I said that we are not only are we understaffed, but even the full allotment of police officers for the city of Savannah is way too little. There needs to be more. I'm not saying we need to be this big police state, but I'm just saying we need to have more officers out there. Really, if you look at the growth and development we've had in the city, the tourism, the people that come to work here every day, the people that pass through.
What are
it's
they
just-
doing for St. Patrick's Day? Because I know they're going to bring people in, right? Because they're not going to allow it to be
right. No.
St. Patrick's Day with the force we have currently, right?
No. They're bringing plenty of folks in. They've got outside agencies. So you've got, what is it, 8 municipalities in the county that are going to be assisting. So each department, some of the bigger departments may have 60 folks there. Some of the smaller departments may have 10 people there. So there'll be plenty of folks. There'll be plenty of police officers there, and they've got a good plan. They've got good intel on ways of keeping the folks safe during St. Patrick's Day. But I think as far as our police force is concerned, and I made the comment too. I said, what are our allotments supposed to be, 519 or something like that? I said, really, we should be closer to 620 or 650. And to me, you're able to put enough people back into the neighborhoods where you've got police officers just walking, talking to folks, solving problems in the community. You've got detectives doing their things. Yeah. Yeah. So it's just getting to that point, keeping the good folks that we have and hiring quality over quantity. And that's what's important to me.
All right.
I feel like that's so important. I feel like that's like the whole walk in the streets kind of thing is just kind of like getting to know the community, and
Yep.
it's good exercise.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
I mean, and here's the thing, if the neighborhood's really that big, I've seen some departments put their officers on a Segway or roller skates. If I see an officer on roller skates, I'm gonna laugh. I'm sorry. I've seen it before. It's out there.
I got a
All right,
husky boy too.
I want to ask you one last question. Okay, we're running long, so we're gonna kind of wind this thing down. What is your favorite restaurant in Savannah?
Oh
man, what would you if you had to recommend to somebody that was flying in from Nova Scotia and they had one restaurant they had to go to? What would it be?
Nova Scotia, really?
I was gonna say no.
I don't even know where that's at. It sounds fancy though.
Proper, it's in Canada proper.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know you.
So you're gonna ask me this question while you're wearing a hat.
Right.
Yeah. Which I claim.
I'll tell you, it's Slow Fire. If you want the best Texas barbecue, come and get some Slow Fire. Definitely. Yeah, I would tell you, no doubt, you got to get Taryn Williams with Slow Fire crew. Are amazing. They're at Starling Yard a lot of times. So if you want to get some good Slow Fire, go Starling Yard on the weekends. They'll be there. Trust me.
So I'm coming. I've never been. But that may be in my new favorite restaurant. But I will tell you, I don't have a favorite. I have a few favorites. Okay. So I'll give you from around the city. I'll just give you maybe 3 or 4. But Ruan Thai right there on Broughton Street. Awesome place. Best Thai food. Kind of King and I are about, they're just about tied for that spot. But if you want, so we're good there. You want good pizza, you want some authentic cannolis, Vincenzo's in Windsor Forest. It's our little secret there. It's an awesome spot. Man, there's so many places. I was thinking, you put me on the spot with this one, man. But I like variations of different types of food. If you want experience, I would say if you want some experience, like at a seafood place, some of the places on River Street are cool. But if you really want some authentic, hey, sit out there and get eaten up by sand gnats. Crab Shack's always a club favorite.
Love
Or
sand gnats.
but hey, that's not in Savannah. But I mean,
for the seafood and the sand gnats.
Yeah, one of those places. But no, man, there's so much good food out there in Savannah. You can't turn a block without having an awesome restaurant. And I think that's what puts us on the map. It's not just the experience, it's not just the people, but it's the places to eat, the restaurants, the food, the variations of the different types of food that's out there. Man, I mean, the funny thing is, every night my partner and I we'll sit there and we'll look and be like, what do you what do you want for dinner? I don't know. What do you want? We get on DoorDash and we look and we're like, because we don't feel like going anywhere, right?
So
So we
many
get on
options.
so we get on DoorDash and he's like, what do you want? I'm like, I don't know. What do you want? There's like 1,000 restaurants in the area and you can't even pick one because there's just so many choices. So I don't have a favorite. But as far as atmospheres and all that, you can't pick any better places, I think, than any of the spots on like Vix on the River is a great place
Oh,
for an
great.
atmosphere. You know, so there's just so many. There's a couple in Midtown that I like. You know, Five Spot's really good.
I like
Bella's
Wet
is good. So yeah, but I mean, it's there's just too many to choose from. So no, I can't give you just one.
All
But
right.
yeah,
All right. That's
yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough. If you were looking for, I will tell you what, in Port Wentworth, if you ever come here, Curtis, you need to try Honey's Creamery. Oh my God, they do
Really?
gelato.
Oh, I gotta check
It's
that
so
out.
good. They got a blender,
Oh.
and then they do Afghano. So, like, you know what
No.
Afghano is?
No, what
They-
is that?
They put the gelato on the top, and then they do espresso right on it, and you can pick any flavor you want.
Oh, I
So
can't
it'd
do
be
that. I'll be in
espresso
trouble.
right on the.
I'll get it every day. I can't do that. No.
Oh, it's
Man,
amazing.
I gotta try
It's
it.
amazing.
I gotta try it. Oh man.
So,
That
is there
amazing.
anything that you wanted to talk about that we did not talk about?
I want to try that.
No, I'll tell you this. One thing I see, what's unique about Savannah, and I've lived in a few other places, but what's unique about Savannah is people give a damn about Savannah. They care. And because people care, they're so passionate about stuff. And because they're so passionate, you know, we have some really, I'll call them spirited arguments or spirited conversation, really, whether it be in city council, whether it be on Facebook or social media, and people get pissed like they own a part of Savannah. Everybody has their own little piece of Savannah that they own. So what I tell folks all the time is this: stay engaged, because that's the only way that we're going to keep doing great things in the city of Savannah and in the area around. You know, I'll tell you this much: I kind of made some people do this right here a couple weeks back when I said that I was really wanting to actively pursue consolidating the city and county government. You know, Athens Clark did it, Macon Bibb did it. It's not about so much saving the taxpayer money, which it would, but it's about increasing services and opportunities and really streamlining services. And I think it would make the quality of life better for people without costing the extra money. So to me, if we can just get political people in all these different positions to relinquish control, I think that would
Ooh,
really
that's tough.
it is. It's going to be tough. It's a tough sell, but I'm up for it. You know,
David meet Goliath again.
but I will tell you this: I'm starting to have those conversations with people at the state level, even at the federal level. I've had some conversations, and I think that the time is right to start moving in that direction. We know when we demerged the police department, it was really did a lot of folks a disservice. Really, what we should have done is merge the governments first, and then look at merging the different departments under them.
Yes.
So that's where we did the disservice to folks. That was, you know, I always say, well, that happened before I got on city council. Well, now it's my baby to take care of. So that's the direction I want to move to. But
There's
boy,
no
I
better
probably
time.
pissed off a lot of people when I just made that comment. So.
That's all right. Don't worry. I'm going to put it on Facebook 100 times and on
That's
my
all right.
YouTube channel
That's
a
all
trillion
right.
times. So
Hey,
hopefully
that's
get thousands of views on it, and we can make this thing happen.
That'll be
Community
one
will
clip
come
that just
together.
gets played over and over and over.
Yeah, I'm just
Oh,
gonna try
man.
to put it on every Facebook page possible, so
Yeah,
they can
yeah.
rehear what you just said.
There's
But-
a lot of people that feel the same way. Trust
Oh
me.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. So hey, put it out to the vote to folks in the county and the city, and I think that they probably agree on it. I think you'd see some overwhelming support for it. Yeah.
All right, Brian, is there anything else that you want to talk about?
Oh, nothing appropriate.
Okay. Curtis,
Hey,
I wanna say thank-
we live in this. We live in the greatest city, in the greatest area here on Earth, and everything is appropriate. So
there you go.
We can
Well,
walk
Curtis,
around.
I want to say,
It's good.
I was gonna
Curtis,
say,
I wanna
wish me luck, guys. I'll be in Washington D.C. in a couple weeks. Be meeting with our Senator John Ossoff, friend of mine, he's a hell of a guy. He's a great guy. He's been burning the candle at both ends, out on
he's
the road.
running, right?
Yes, he is. He's running for re-election. I'm not trying to plug his re-election, but I will tell you, he's done a lot. He's done a lot, and he's been able to, like myself, reach across both aisles and really accomplish some things, bringing some federal dollars back into our area. So, if you were going to have somebody on your show,
You can be the
Do you
plug.
think he would come on? Do you think you can help us get him
well,
on here?
I've hosted him on a show of mine when I first got elected. So if I can talk to him, maybe we'll get him on.
Well, hey, like I said, let's get him on. I would, if you
Yeah.
could give one, and it could be him.
Yeah,
I would definitely love that.
man, I'll work my magic, see what I can do. I will definitely do that. But I appreciate you guys.
Well, I appreciate you too, Kurtz, for coming on and illuminating. What we're trying to do on this show, and I think we didn't say this in the beginning, and I want to tell you so you know, we're trying to get the people in touch with the people that are in the decision makers. That's the goal.
Yes.
Like we have our opinions, and they differ. Me and Brandon are somewhat different in our ideology, but we want the people to be able to talk to you so they can ask you the questions that they don't ever get to ask. So, and then what that goes with, and I'm going to show you real quick, so you can. What?
Well, I'll tell you this, guys. One of the things that people don't know about me, and my committee, because I have a committee when I ran for office both times. On my committee, and actually friends of mine, on my committee, I have the most conservative MAGA person you would find, and I have the most progressive Bernie Sanders AOC person you could find. And I've put that committee together, and anytime that we have conversation, it's spirited, it's interesting, but I want both perspectives, and I want to be able to see what we can do for folks. So yeah.
You can have an intelligent conversation. That's all that matters.
Yep.
Exactly.
Sometimes there's some hollering, and we have to, bring our woosah moment back in, but we're good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just to show you guys what we got going on. So March 2nd, next week, we got the council member from District 2 in Port Wentworth, Mark Stevens, coming on.
Exciting.
Then we got March 9th, Krista Penn, who's running for Buddy Carter's seat.
Even more exciting.
March 16th, we're having Michael McCord, also running for Buddy Carter's seat.
So
And then we got David Dilley from Georgia House District 161 coming on the 23rd. So we got a lot of guys, a lot of good programs coming on. If you guys like what we're doing, hit like, share, subscribe. Tell all your buddies to come on. Hey, Curtis, tell everybody in the Savannah.
I'm letting them know.
Let them know. We want to talk to them. My wife is very good friends with Linda Wilder Bryant.
Yes.
So I'm hoping to get her on here soon. So we got a full slate, guys. So if you guys like what we're doing, like I said, join us back next week. And thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.